Yeah, OTB Spreads prediction show coming to you live on April 20th, Money Monday, where we cash and we beat the books. Over the weekend, on the first two rounds of the NBA, we went 5-3, 60% win rate. I'd have liked to seen that number at 6-2 because if you follow me, you know I pride myself on that big 70% number. We are 74% on the year in 2026, cashing big with only 5 losing days in January, followed up with only 7 losing days in February, and then 11 losing days in March. This month, we're sitting at a 12-7 record. We did have a losing day today, looking like the Golden Knights are going to sell us, and we were on the wrong side with the Pistons covering -8. So, yeah, that's where it's at, guys. We had the Spurs tonight. We had the Thunder beating up on the Suns. We even took them for the alt line at -17.5 at +120. So we covered pretty damn well today. I was surprised to see the 76ers get blown out the way they did. It was always Boston in TD Garden. They're just different animals at home, off a rest. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. That team's going to roll. That might be our first sweep of the playoffs. So, but without further ado, we're going to get into today's slate. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, give you the side that I lean, where I'm going to be putting my money, and let's go. Book the one way. All right, first up, we have the Raptors going into Cleveland once again. Cleveland is on a 2-game win streak, obviously. They just lost to Toronto. So Cleveland's ripped off 2 in a row right at the end of the regular season. And then in this last playoff game against the Raptors, they beat up on them. I expect to see more of the same. Cleveland by 8.5. I'll lay the number there. I just think they're too much for Toronto. I expected Toronto last week as one of the losses that we had. We were on the Toronto side of things. After seeing Toronto, how they match up and how they played, Emmanuel quickly was irrelevant in that game. They just weren't playing. Jamal Sheed, he stepped up and played decent, but they need a guy like Quickly out there to really get it going. And it already looks like they have ruled Quickly out, I believe, for tomorrow night's game. Looking at the injury report, he is questionable. All right, he's not been ruled out, questionable. But that doesn't change my mind. I think that the big men are too better. They're going to outpower them. Sandro didn't do anything. Pottle didn't do anything. Scotty Barnes put up a decent effort. Barrett was the bright spot in that offense. But even then, he's not enough because you still have Donovan Mitchell and James Harden on the other side of the ball. Max Strus, Sam Merrill played really good ball. Max Strus, I thought he played really well for his role. These guys are just going to end up rolling over this Toronto team, in my opinion, tomorrow night on Monday playoff basketball. Give me the -8.5 on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Once again, they've been owning this matchup pretty much all year against Toronto, and they're 27-14 at home. I don't expect that to change. I think that they go up 2-0 in the series, go back to Toronto. Toronto might even the score by 1 game. I think ultimately the series ends with like a 4-1, maybe a 4-2, but I think 4-1 is what it's going to end out at. Toronto's going to steal 1 at home. Cleveland's going to grab 1, and then they'll close it out in Cleveland. That's where I'm at, -8.5. I'll lay the points. All right, moving into the next one, guys. We've got Atlanta Hawks taking on the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden, and we all know how good the Knicks are in Madison Square Garden. We were on the Knicks -5.5. They're going back to these same numbers the books are. I'm not going to go for it. I'm going to lay it with the Knicks, -5.5. I don't want the +5.5 on the Hawks. They just, when the Knicks are clicking and they're rolling, and they gave up some late points there, they really should have won by a little bit more than what they did. I think they won 112-101. I think they should have won by 15, just like the Spurs tonight. Spurs were up 21, only to win by 12. They took their foot off the gas, and obviously the Blazers got hot in the fourth. They went like 9 consecutive shots in a row. So here in this spot, I want my money on the Knicks, -5.5. It's probably my favorite play on the board out of all the games tomorrow. To me, it just feels like at Madison Square Garden, Karl Anthony Towns was a big X factor. I don't know if he has that type of game. Historically, he hasn't played well against this Atlanta team. That was one of his first really good games that he's ever had against Atlanta. He had 25, 8, and 4. His other 2 games that he has had a couple big games, last season against them. He had some 40 bombs and 30 bombs. But this season, he really didn't do a lot against them. In December, he did drop a 36-point game. So he has actually found a little bit better success than I thought. I just know that he's had some low numbers against them in the past. Back in 2024, he's always under 20 points against them. And then he had a 21-point game against them back in early April. But that was a meaningless April game, really. So I was impressed with what I saw from Towns. I thought they would give him a little bit more trouble, but he bullied them, and he got what he wanted around the rim. Brunson, once again, he's going to be Brunson. I think Brunson's going to have a big game. He had a decent game. against the Hawks in the opening round. He had 28, 5, and 7. By Jalen Brunson standards, that's pretty normal, guys, right? And I think that we're going to see a 30 bomb from him tomorrow night in Madison Square Garden. We all know who Jalen Brunson is. Don't let Jalen Brunson figure you out. And really, that's the case in point, is that lay the 5 at half. They're at home. That's the edge. That's the advantage. This Knicks team has continuously stepped up against this team all season long. I don't see it being any different here. They're not going to give up and split 1-1 in Madison Square Garden. I believe that they handle business. They come and play with the same defensive energy. They continue to get points in the paint. Brunson continues to assist the ball really well, like he's done for the last several weeks. He's almost hitting 6 every single time. There's only been 2 games out of the last, I want to say, 10 where he's been under 6 assists, and they were both 5s where he had 5 assists. I think he assists the ball really well tomorrow. I think he's going to have a 30 bomb, and they're going to win by, anywhere between 8 to 12 points once again. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Hawks come out and change some things up. I thought Jalen Johnson was hanging around the perimeter a little bit too much. I think that they're going to go to him maybe a little bit more inside this game, and they're going to try and get some mismatches off of pick and rolls with him. That would be my take on it. But once again, the Knicks control points in the paint. I think they do the same in this next matchup tomorrow, -5.5. Go ahead and give me the Knicks. All right, on to the last game of the night. It's a 3-game slate, pretty short slate. Now that we're here in April into the playoffs, it only gets shorter as we work our way into the next rounds of the NBA playoffs. This one here is going to be the Timberwolves versus the Nuggets. I really like the Denver Nuggets here, man. It's the same number again, -6.5. They're 13 straight wins in a row. They're hot. They're looking good. I think that you could argue, hey, it's another game Anthony Edwards has under his belt. They're going to come out. They're going to be more competitive. They're going to focus on Jokic. Now, I think you'd also say that Aaron Gordon, Mr. Regression, right? Like Aaron Gordon had a really good game. He typically isn't 17 points, 8 rebounds type of guy. He typically will sometimes get you 6 and 2, or he'll get you 6 and 5. The 15s and the 23s, when he does that, this team's not going to lose. I'm not sure if he's going to do that tomorrow, and that is my only concern with laying the 6 with Denver, is that this offense really relies on Aaron Gordon when they match up against this Timberwolves team. It's not Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is not the guy that beats this Timberwolves team. He never has been, even though he dropped 30 on them the last game. And that's really was the X factor, was that 2-man game between him and Jokic, really. Jokic had a decent game by Jokic standards, triple-double, right? 25, 13, and 11. That was the game. Those were the X factors. Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, and Jokic. Now, if any of those guys take a step back, this is more of a ball game. You know what I mean? This is more of a closer, competitive game. They stay within that number. And that is my only concern with laying it with the Nuggets tomorrow is, can these guys play at that level once again, especially Aaron Gordon, who can tend to be inconsistent on the scoring side of the ball? But here, hey, man, I have a hard time fading the Mile High City. I really do. And I know it's kind of chalky here that we're taking all favorites tomorrow, laying the points on all of them. But honestly, what we've seen in this first round is pretty much chalk other than the Magic. Thunder rolled, Spurs rolled, Celtics rolled, right? We had the Lakers yesterday. I think the Lakers was a mispriced game. The Lakers were always the better team, in my opinion. And LeBron James played like a younger LeBron. It was incredible to watch. But that's my take on it, guys, right? Like, there hasn't really been any big upsets where you're like, wow, other than the Magic. And I think that was one where we probably could have predicted it a little bit. They match up well if you dug a little bit deeper. But none of us, when I came into the Magic game and I handicapped that one, it was just solely based on that they don't shoot the ball well. They're a 45% field goal percentage team versus a 48% field goal percentage team on the season. And I just think that the Pistons had the better edge when it came to scoring the ball at the rim. The difference was they didn't shoot the 3 well until late in the game. And at that point, the Orlando Magic already built a cushion, and they're getting points in the paint with Wagner, with Desmond Bane on a couple pull-ups. Banchero didn't really do much in the fourth. But yeah, it was a really competitive game. I was surprised there. That was really the only chalk play that didn't cash this past weekend, really, out of all of the matchups. Everybody else pretty much covered, all favorites. You had the Cavaliers roll, the Nuggets rolled, the Knicks rolled, Celtics rolled, Thunder rolled, and then tonight the Spurs rolled, right? So it was a fairly chalky weekend, and we see that a lot of the times in the NBA playoffs. Sometimes you do get an upset here or there. We did lean to try and take the 76ers to try and stay inside the number, but they got blown out. and the Pistons got upset by the Magic. Really, those were the two spots there for underdogs. Outside of that, I didn't think there was any opportunity other than the Lakers. That was the one that stood out to me. Reason being, Rockets, right? The Rockets have a really inconsistent offense. And then there was the rumors with Kevin Durant sitting out. +5, +5.5 is where we had it at. We're going to take that all day. We're also on the money line with the Lakers at home. They're a different ball team, different club. I think that LeBron James, he can create shots still at this age for his shooters. And if those perimeter guys can knock it down, they're going to be able to win this series. We'll see what happens if Kevin Durant suits up. If Kevin Durant comes back on Tuesday night and plays, we'll see what that matchup and what that line looks like. Once again, though, pretty chalky day tomorrow. We're going to lay the number on all the teams. I personally don't believe that these numbers are large enough. The only one that I'm a little hesitant on is that Timberwolves game because I do think that they needed 30 from Jamal and 25 from Jokic just to win by, what was it, 12 points, 11 points, something like that. Yeah, but I'll lay it with the Nuggets at home in Mile High City. They've owned this Timberwolves team for some years now. And yeah, that's really where, other than that playoff matchup a couple years back, I guess that's about 5 years ago now, maybe, when they ran up against Luka Doncic in the Western Conference Finals. But outside of that, this Timberwolves team hasn't really been able to beat the Nuggets consistently. And their 54-win team, 28-13 at home. This Timberwolves team, 23-18 on the road, hasn't really shown us that they can do it consistently. So I will lay the 6.5. I also lay the 8 with the Cavaliers and the 5.5 with the Knicks. That's where I'm at for tomorrow, guys. Hope you found this information useful. If you did, go ahead and drop a like. Make sure to follow. And let's book the one way. Let's make some money. And let's book a trip to the fucking Bahamas. All right, let's get it, y'all. See you next time.